To believe that this epic production has come to a final conclusion. It's one that we've waited for every single week to see exactly whether or not, of course, she could have the people that we were finally interested in. As I've said many times here on the show, the only thing that's really been interesting about the Archetypes podcast, fronted by Meghan Markle, with a slew of producers behind her to make sure it seems a little bit interesting at least, has been two guests, in my opinion. Could be wrong, love to know what you think. Mariah Carey and, of course, Serena Williams. The rest, I'm sure, are very nice, but they're not exactly prolific, are they? But they could have been if Meghan had been a little bit more generous, and I use that term loosely, to a former friend. As ever, let me explain. Hi, good morning, Neil Sean here in the very heart of London, and it's ever nice to see you today. It's tricky, as I've said many times here on the show. When you decide to launch something, it's all about public perception. Do the public want to watch? Do the public care about the people that you're interviewing? We recently had an esteemed UK interviewer over here, Michael Parkinson, talking about some of the people that he was lucky enough to interview. And I would say I was just about as lucky as Michael because, when you think about it, you come through the latter part of interesting people. When you look at the 21st century, there are very few true stars. And I truly believe that the reason why people like Johnny Carson, Dick Cavett, so many other people that were wonderful interviewers around the world were lucky was when you think also we didn't know too much about the celebrity. They weren't always telling you their problems, were they? Mental illness, breakdowns, alcohol, all that sort of stuff. There were mystique. There was something of a mystery about them. So when they spoke, it was a real treat. We got an insight for the very first time. Parkinson said that when he was saying about the interviews, claiming that, he was lucky to get people like Jimmy Stewart, James Cagney, Fred Astaire, real superstars of the day. Let's not forget, of course, one of his all-time favourites, Lauren Bacall, one of mine, Sophia Loren. Beautiful lady even today. But it's interesting with Meghan because she could have had a change of direction, as I say, if she'd been a little bit more generous with her time. What's fascinating, I find, is that, the topics have all been a bit woke. And we know that she thinks woke's a great thing, She doesn't see that as a bad word. But really, there was one person that was hanging on the telephone, to quote a phrase by the brilliant Debbie Harry of Blondie. None other than someone that she could have possibly given a foot back to, as they were now hitting very hard times thanks to the cancellation of their own chat show after 19 seasons. You've guessed it, Ellen DeGeneres. And allegedly, we have to tell you that Ellen did wait patiently. According to a very good source, we were told that Ellen thought by having that open, frank chat interview on Meghan's podcast, that this may have been the chance to sort of redeem herself, put her side of the story over. That chance with Meghan's interviewing skills, let me tell you, all about her, Ellen. You should have worked that one out when you booked her onto the show. But then again, many people are thinking, well, you did actually get her to do some terrible things, like crouching down, drinking from a baby's milk bottle, that sort of stuff, all in the name of alleged comedy. And they often say, don't they, in the world of show business, what comes around goes around. So for Meghan, it looks like she possibly looked at that, saw the backlash and thought, let's curtail ties with Ellen. Now, while that might be publicly, privately, we truly don't know. Maybe they're still chums. But in the public domain, as we've said, if you are Harry and Meghan, you simply drop the people, publicly at least, if they're simply now no good for you, or don't do your reputation the best of times, as it were. Just look at James Corden. It does appear, as I say, that Ellen DeGeneres really was looking for a way back, some kind of redemption. And what better than a friend that she gave a platform for on her then much viewed chat show, when you look at it like that. But seemingly, the offer to return wasn't reciprocated by Meghan. According to another good source, Meghan hopes that if it goes into a second series, she may find the time or indeed spot. How kind and generous, don't you think? Neil Sean in the very heart of London.